This is tough. This is the hardest question you've asked.
Welcome to 100 Days of Trailhead, where the tech community comes to learn Salesforce, learn tech, get inspired, and invest in ourselves. We are your trail guides, here to support you on your learning journey. We release videos weekly. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a video. In the description below, you can find links for everything we mention in this video, as well as books and resources we found useful. Visit our blog, 100daysoftrailhead.com, for other helpful Salesforce and tech content. Warren Walters from Salesforce Mentor came to our attention because of his passion for the community and his virus tracker learning series to show community members how they too can build a virus tracker for their companies. What we found out in this collab is that Warren is much more than just his Salesforce knowledge. Come with us to learn more about the Salesforce Mentor, Warren Walters. Hi, I'm Rachel Watson.
And I'm Jessica Murphy.
And we are the co-founders of 100 Days of Trailhead. We are here with Warren from
Salesforce Mentor.
Well, hello.
Welcome, Warren. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your YouTube channel.
Well, number one, thanks for having me on. And yeah, I'm Warren Walters from Salesforce Mentor, a little YouTube channel that does Salesforce tutorials from literally anything. So administration, flows, more configurations, code, even integration. So I do a little bit of everything. It's more community requests. And yeah, I'm just out here making some Salesforce videos. I love doing it.
Fantastic. So I love the fact that you have a little bit of something for everyone, and that's so important when you're talking about, adapting your content to community. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you do before getting into your Salesforce career?
Well, for me, I kind of didn't do anything before Salesforce. So I actually, Salesforce administration development was my first job. I went to school for computer science. I got an internship at a company down here in South Florida, and they had Salesforce, and that's when I started learning it. So through that internship, I started out as a regular admin doing some configuration stuff, and we hit some roadblocks to where we needed to write some code, and I kind of raised my hand and said, like, hey, I'm studying code. I can try to write this and do this. And my current bosses at the time, they're like, hey, yeah, go for it. Give it a try. So that's how I kind of get started in Salesforce. And when we talk about like the beginnings and what I did before, it was really just I was in school for IT, went that route and then jumped straight into Salesforce after that. If you want to know some stuff before that, I worked at McDonald's for a long time, all through high school. I did a short stint at AT&T selling phones there. So all just, I guess, normal service jobs. And then, all throughout high school and college. And then finally, once I hit that point, got an internship, and it was just Salesforce from then on.
I absolutely love that at your first job, you decided to raise your hand and say, hey, let me take on this challenge. That is really awesome.
Yeah, it's huge props to my bosses and mentors at that time, because they were really encouraging, really helpful, and they believed in me and my abilities even at that point. And they said, give it a try. Of course, it was in the sandbox and all the good processes that you should do. And they said, let's see what it can do first before we put it in production. But they gave me the opportunity to actually write some code and branch out. And that's what kind of set me up for the Salesforce career path.
That is absolutely fantastic. So it sounds like you've had a lot of different types of experience with Salesforce on the config side and the development side. So I'm just curious, what's your favorite aspect of Salesforce? And if you can think of something that you would like to change, what might that be?
My favorite aspect has to be kind of how you can build almost anything in Salesforce, which is, it's saying a lot. So as I was going through school, there is a lot of procedure when you're like let's say writing code or building an application, right? You got to get the database guy to build the database, and you got to get the network guy to set up all the network, and you got to get the coders to, or even the UI people to build the UI, and then string it all together. And that takes a long time, and it requires a lot of skill sets. It requires a lot of people in between there working in unison. What really drew me to Salesforce, and it's probably my favorite aspect of it, is just the ability where you can kind of do all of that yourself. You don't have to worry too much about the networking. You don't have to worry too much about the database. You can kind of just get in there and build what you want to in the first place without having to worry too much about, all of these things working together. Because for me, networking isn't as exciting or interesting to me. I just want it to work. I need people to connect and people to go in there, and then that's it. So if I don't have to worry about that, somebody set that up for me, and the platform already has it baked into it, and all I can do is write code or build my application. That's what I'm looking for. And things that I would change, I would probably say, and it kind of goes with the change of Salesforce as well. It's just the amount of change that they have on their platform itself. So on the development side, we think of things like, first we had Visual Force Pages, then we had Aura for 3-4 years, and now we're on Lightning Web Components. So it's a huge learning curve just on each of those different steps as you go along for a lot of developers. And I know this is development focused, but I'm sure there's examples in configuration and administration where things are changing very rapidly, and it's hard to keep up with it sometimes. I mean, a super great example, now Flows is like the king of automation when it comes to configuration. And if you knew workflows, or you're just getting really good with workflows, and then you're like, oh, well, now I got to learn process builders. Now process builders kind of take a back seat. Oh, now Flows is the new thing, and we got to learn that. So it's hard for people that, Salesforce, maybe you're a Salesforce admin, but you don't get as much exposure to some of the new and upcoming technologies as much, and you start to feel like you're falling behind a little bit. So that's kind of what I would change. It's good and bad, a double-edged sword.
So let's change the focus from Salesforce exclusively to you. Where all have you lived? I know that you live in Florida currently, but where have you lived before?
Sure. So I've actually only ever lived in Florida. Shocker, surprise, surprise, or not a glamorous answer, right? I've lived in South Florida all my life. I've traveled a decent amount to a few different states, and my family is from the Caribbean, so I have been to places like Bahamas, Jamaica, very often to see what those places were like. But I've only ever lived in South Florida, really in the same Tri-City area, so it's kind of boring, but I love Florida. It's the best. It's like summer all the time, so you can't beat it most of the time.
Well, Florida, especially South Florida, has some really good food.
Yes.
I can tell you that much. So I'm just curious, what's the most unusual thing you've ever eaten?
Well, that's hard to think of. So I'm allergic to shrimp, and I tend to stay away from seafood. And I know seafood's easy to say, like, oh, I've eaten octopus or I've eaten this and that. I would say I get the most weird looks when I say that I've eaten goat. And I guess it depends on where you are. Me being from the islands and my parents from the island, like they eat goat all the time. So it's a pretty normal thing there. But one of my favorite foods is curry goat. And I love it. I eat it all the time. But for people, if you aren't exposed to, eating other types of meat, you may give it a second look or wonder, is that a normal thing to do? So, yeah, I would say that's probably the most unusual thing I've eaten. I've eaten calamari. That's nothing crazy there.
I can tell you, curry goat is amazing. Yes, absolutely.
It's one of my favorite things to make and one of my favorite things to eat, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so question. If you could only wear one color every day for the rest of your life, what color would you wear?
It's a rough one. Most of my wardrobe is black, so that's an easy pick. But if it wasn't black, I would probably do Oh man, I don't think I will look good in like all purple, but I do like purple as a color and also green. So I'll just stick with purple for now. That'll be the color for the rest of my life. I'll look kind of weird, but I don't mind. It's gonna look weird either way unless you pick like a solid color like black or something.
I think that's awesome.
Yes, I do too.
I think that's fantastic. So, what is your favorite season and why?
Well, down here in Florida, we don't really have many seasons. It's just summer, and then a little bit of, I guess, even if you want to call it fall. Um, Hmm. But I would say if you let's say that we go somewhere else or go up north, like I have seen snow before. I do not like snow. I don't like winter at all. The winter is it's way too cold. If it gets below like 65, it's way too cold for me. That's how you can tell I've been in Florida all my life, right? So I would probably say Florida fall because it gets to like a nice 80, 75 to 80 and it's just so nice. You can leave the windows open, you can go outside, and the breeze is coming in, and it's really nice. Everything's still green, which I know you guys probably know about, like the changing of the leaves and the colors and everything like that. I've seen that a little bit, but Florida's always green. It's always nice. You can always go out whenever you want. So I would probably say Florida fall is my favorite season.
Yeah, that's kind of like the fall in Arizona. It doesn't get really cool, we don't really have a fall. We have just less hot. What have you always wanted to do that you haven't done yet?
Hmm. This is a good one. There's a couple things. There's easy ones like going to space. I would love to go to space. And hopefully, in another, I don't know, 50 years, commercial space travel is readily available for the general public that's somewhat affordable. There's a lot of caveats in that one, but I would love to go to space, but more realistic. I've done some other weird stuff like or not kayaking, skydiving, parasailing, all of like the easy stuff. Easy. Um, hmm. I'd love to go like racing cars. I'm a car fan, a car person. So I'd love to go like be in an actual race of some sort. Maybe with the stakes not too high, not with my car or anything like that. But yeah, I'd love to do some sort of racing and see what that's like. I'm always very interested in that kind of stuff.
What kind of car would you race if you could choose any car?
If I could choose any car, uh, I would probably pick a Toyota Supra. That's definitely my favorite car. But I know something more attainable because those are somewhat expensive cars. I know there's like Miata racing series, so those are Mazda Miatas that you can race for relatively cheap. And I'd love to do something like that.
So, would you rather have your dream job or be able to access any video game pre release or video game system pre release?
Hmm, this is tough. This is the hardest question you've asked so far. I hope my questions are as hard as this one for you all. Um, Dream job. If I'm doing my dream job, then I probably won't have any time to play video games because I'm loving my job. I want to do it all the time, and forget work-life balance. It's so good that it is work-life balance. But let's see, on the other side of that, we do have play any video game, and somehow you knew that I was a big video game fan. I don't know how that slipped out. Um, any video game or game system. I'm gonna have to go with the video games just because you know you can always work a ton. There's always more work to be done. You can have your dream job for sure, but work life balance is important to me. So I'm gonna stick with video games, and that's what I do to relieve stress and just to hang out. So I'll go with that one. I play all the games, any of the games, you name it, as they come out. So I think that's pretty cool.
We are so excited to do this collaboration with you, and it has been so interesting learning about you. I've been watching your YouTube channel, and I am a big fan of everything that you do. I'm a big fan of your Flow series. I'm even a big fan of your talk about what happened with your JavaScript exam, because we are big proponents of telling people when we failed exams, and telling them, hey, there's still hope, keep going. So keep on doing all of the amazing work that you're doing with your YouTube channel. Know that we're watching, and we think that you are awesome, Warren.
Thank you. Yeah, Jessica, Rachel, thank you all so much for having me on. I do appreciate it. And, I'm just trying to give back to the community that helped me out so much. Along the ways of me being an intern and learning throughout that, there's a lot of other people that I learned from. And this is some content that I would have wanted to have when I was first getting started out. So that's why I'm spreading it out there and helping other people along their Salesforce journey. And feel free to reach out to me at any time, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and any of the places if you just want to chat or talk about Salesforce. So thank you all so much.
And we'll make sure that all of your information is in the description below, your LinkedIn, and every way to contact you. So thank you so much, Warren.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And don't forget to like and subscribe to both of our channels.
Yes.
So you can stay up to date with everything. The whole point is to share knowledge amongst the community and help people level up. Thank you for spending time with us. Please like and subscribe to our channel because we share weekly content to support your tech and Salesforce learning journey. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss a new video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. Connect with us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and on 100daysoftrailhead.com, all of which are listed below. Thank you for learning with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.